It's Lesbian Talk.
Listen.
What?
Listen. Can you hear it?
Well, what are we listening for?
Whatever. One of us is talking. It is a lesbian talking.
It is. I thought you were doing the "Hey, listen" from Ocarina of Time.
I won't do it.
Strong iron bars are guarding the door. You cannot open them with your hands. See, someone should do an Ocarina of Time mod. I'm sure someone has that allows you to kill Navi the fairy.
Well, I'm pretty sure the first mod or whoever did anything with Ocarina of Time did that.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that like N64 stuff is really, really, really hard to emulate. I don't know why, but apparently it is. Because like I'd love to play Ocarina of Time and just Ocarina of Time, and like you can, but you need to own like a Nintendo console and like pay for it on like the virtual thingy. And I'm like, no, I just want to play it for a wee bit. But there's like literally so difficult to just emulate it.
Well, that's shit.
Yep. How are you guys? How's the month treating you?
We can hear you.
No, we can't. Don't tell them that.
I can hear you.
We work for the NSA.
We know what you're doing with your hand. It's very naughty.
Why are you like vibrating as you say that? 'Cause that makes it sound you're like Marley's ghost, you know, like Ebenezer, stop masturbating.
It's that sort of amazing vocal vibrations is why Kyle in that like Twitter thing or Ask FM or whatever it was said I have a voice like a rocking chair.
Really?
Yep.
That was a really obnoxious noise, actually. Stop making. You're so good at making obnoxious noises.
Yes, like I do whenever we got married.
No, that wasn't obnoxious.
Yes, it was.
That was awesome. Spoilers, at our wedding, like most of it was me trying not to laugh because we had a 5-year-old in attendance.
Yeah, one of us got pregnant. It was great.
No, because my friends brought up, they said, can we bring our child? And I said, yeah. And then Lindsay and Todd showed up. I mean, they were invited, obviously. But they're
just like, there's a Channel Awesome wedding. We're going to burst in.
No, but they were like, can we bring Callie? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And so we asked the woman whose ceremony room it was, and she's like, yeah, no, that's fine. So you had the occasion that there was a little 5-year-old chasing a little Boston Terrier around a Harvard Force. It was like...
It was great.
It was really funny, and I was like laughing from having.
The only thing better than that would have been if we'd had a wedding where people I knew could have gone too.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you.
Because only people who were there from my side were my parents. Although Lindsay and Kyle, I tended to know them a little bit better than you.
And Ven and Kyle.
Okay, well, those ones will put them down the middle. And I go, no.
For Christ's sake. But anyway. So you came to me and you said, I have a topic I want to talk about for Lesbian Talk. And I said, all right.
I have a topic that I think we should discuss. I don't have a lecture worked out.
Let's see your curriculum.
A lecture would be crap because I am crap unless I'm talking to someone. Or heavily scripted.
Yeah. I
am suggesting that we discuss Jim Henson stuff because I just watched the entire run, as in only 8 episodes of it, of the Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge, and it was fucking awesome.
See, I haven't seen it, but... Because, alright, so she watches a lot of stuff after I go to bed while she's editing.
Because, you know, a lot of days I can only start editing literally at midnight. So
upon the stroke of midnight.
Because...
Open Final Cut Pro.
Because functionally we've only got 3 rooms. The living room and the editing room and the kitchen are all one big room, and we've got a bedroom.
Yeah.
And the bathroom, obviously. So, unless one of us is banished to the bedroom, we can't...
Banishment!
She can't work at the same time I'm editing and vice versa. So, I tend to work after she goes to bed.
Yeah, and you'll, like, just marathon, like, really stupid, horrible movies and shows that I wouldn't watch with you, like... What was the one, the James Patterson one, where, like, the animals become sentient?
Oh, Zoo. I've seen the first 2 series of that.
Really bad.
Yeah, Zoo, Salem occasionally, The Last Ship, anything new Marvel comes out with.
And she'll be like, I watched the worst thing. I'm like, oh, I heard that was bad.
I've been watching The Mist, watched the Belko Experiment and Kong Skull Island, you know, random shit. For some reason I decided to start rewatching American Horror Story Series 4. which I'm about halfway through while I was finishing the next Red Dwarf, because it's finished. It's just not going up until I get back from Alcon. But yeah, I watched the Jim Henson Creature Shop Challenge, and I'm like, this show is amazing. Why didn't they do more series? This is making me sad.
Probably because there was no drama.
Well, they tried to do some drama, but it is really hard when literally
you're making Muppets.
Well, yeah, you're making Muppets, and the head judge is Jim Henson's son, so he's really friendly and everything. So they're trying to be all biting and stuff, but none of them are, because
no one really has it in them. Just be a bitch.
Yeah, it's like the friendliest, reality TV contest I have ever seen.
Is it friendlier than the Great British Bake Off? Because I heard that's pretty friendly.
I don't watch that one. I'm just thinking about American ones where they're trying to make it all like, oh no, drama, and these people are being horrible, but it's like, no, everyone's just really friendly. The only bit of authentic friction I saw was in the first episode when two people were forced to work together, and one of them was not very competent and was ordering the other one around, and they were more competent. But that was about it. But anyway, the second judge is Kirk fucking Thatcher, who worked on a bunch of Star Trek films. He was the main guy behind the Rancor in Return of the Jedi. He was the punk in Star Trek IV, the Voyage Home, and he sang the song that his punk actually listened to, because Leonard Nimoy was all like, well, I'm thinking of putting all these bands in here, and Kirk Thatcher was like, no, Leonard Nimoy, these are not actual punk bands. I got an idea. Let me do a song for you. Have them play it, and it'll be awesome. It'll be much more authentic than this, and you can get it for free. And so he did. He recorded in about 20 minutes in, I believe, a bathroom in the studio.
That's fantastic.
And it ended up in the film. But he works on the Muppets a lot. He's really quite cool. They have some other guests coming in, like Barry Sonnenfeld, the director of the Addams Family, the Men in Black films, is in for one episode. You got this woman who worked on a bunch of other sci-fi things. It's fascinating.
See, spoilers, when I was little, I always wanted to grow up to work for Jim Henson and to make Muppets.
The prize at the end of the show for the winner is to get a contract at the Creature Shop.
Oh, that's really neat.
And one of the guest experts who comes in to help and to mentor them while they're working on a project.
Is it Frank Oz?
Frank Oz doesn't come in. I was really disappointed. But you have like the creative director of the Creature Shop. You have one of their guys who's been there for like. They have some people coming in who have been there since literally the days of pre-Dark Crystal and all.
Oh wow!
So it's really cool. Like the second episode is the best one because they got to make Skeksis. They were put into teams and they got to make them, and
triggered, traumatized.
It's really, really fabulous.
That's really really amazing. I mean, like I said, like when I was little, that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. Obviously, my life went in a different direction, but I still figure what if.
And we know it's probably much more fake than it appears because it's reality TV, and I could tell.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff isn't always on MythBusters. All of the people.
I wouldn't call that a reality TV show though.
Well, it's real. It's real. It's non-fiction TV.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff, they really do. They really are effects experts, and they really do make those things.
MythBusters, I would call closer to a documentary than a reality show.
Well, what about those ones where it's we are master blacksmiths, and this is the Blacksmith Challenge show? I mean, that kind of stuff is they're actually doing it. They can't fake forging from the fires of Mount
Doom. That's Forged in Fire, the blacksmith show. I quite like that too. But there is one bit where I gotta be a bit truthful. There seems to be one guy that they really wanted to win, and a couple of times his Muppets were clearly not as good as other people's ones, and he tended to win. If you watch the Creature Shop Challenge, watch the one where they have to create magical heads to be mounted on a wizard's wall, and the wizard's played by Turk from Scrubs, and they come to life and talk to him. The winning one, the sort of the hippie orc thing, is clearly substandard compared to the fucking Minotaur. Just saying.
That guy ends up winning?
Not overall, no.
Oh.
He came second, I think.
See, TV shows like that, I feel like I could really get into, but I don't know. Everything seems just such a mess these days. I don't think I've watched a sitcom probably in 20 years. I'll be quite honest. Actually, no. Maybe 18 years. Because when I went to uni and I was in my first flat, we didn't have cable. And then, I got busy in life. And by the time I finally got cable again, I really wouldn't watch like weekly shows, you know? Like I'd have the TV on, like I'd have court TV on, or, you know, when I was doing a lot of work for telecom and I was like staying up nights, I would have like E-Network on in the background, but like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I've forgotten how to TV. And now you could just watch a whole season at once, and you're just like, well.
That's what I do when I edit. Whenever I've got stuff to watch, like whether it be films or TV or whatever, it depends on what I'm actually expecting to get out of it. Stuff I'm watching while I'm editing is stuff I want to follow better, because the way my process for editing is that I edit the voice first without anything else going on, but then whenever I'm doing the visual to the voice, I don't need to hear it very much, so I can follow what's going on in the TV show. However, if it's something that I'm not too interested in actually paying close attention to, I'll probably watch that while I'm playing a video game. Like, I was watching a series of documentaries about, like, Secrets of the Dead or something like that.
What were their secrets?
Oh, each episode was something different. They had, one of them was about the lost city of Zed, which I bought the film about. You know,
See,
Percy
the
Fawcett.
thing is, like, the book is a biography. It's like, it's basically like, you know, nonfiction. So I'm really interested in how the film is like a drama, you know, because I don't know.
Probably just a biography.
Yeah, but like he didn't really find a super advanced civilization in real life. No one has ever been able to prove that actually happened.
Maybe they got like a question mark at the end where it's like, ooh, did
the
you
lost
find
city of
something?
Z? Question mark.
But like other ones, there was the one about Cutter, the poor Irish people who were murdered and buried in Pennsylvania.
Duffy's Cut.
Duffy's Cut, yeah. There was one about the Borneo thing in World War II, where...
Oh yeah, you're really excited about that.
Excited's not the word. I really think this should be a really horrible exploitation film, because in World War II, the British and the Australians parachuted in some special forces into the very deepest parts of Borneo, where they made friends with the locals, because their major used to live in Borneo and spoke the language and everything, and the second he landed, he started wearing native dress, because he's like, you know, fuck it, I don't care anymore, do. And the mission was to convince the locals, who were really pissed off at the Japanese, that the colonial era laws against headhunting people didn't count if the victims were Japanese. And so the idea was that this would be used in conjunction with the actual Allied invasion of Borneo. So basically, lay low, create a network, you know, talk to everyone, and then the second the invasion starts, then slice, you know, terrify the Japanese with a sudden attack from both sides. However, the Major decided that, you know, he's not going to try and hold back the guys from Borneo at all. You know, headhunting is cultural and spiritual, really important thing to these people. And they really
Go on, lads.
And they really
knock yourselves out.
And they really didn't like the Japanese, so he encouraged them to go early. And a lot of people died. A lot. So, I want to know why this has never been turned into a feature film. Like a really brutal Brian Trenchard Smith mid-80s film. That would be fucking amazing. Brian Trenchard Smith's version of Inglourious Bastards.
I think it's kind of concerning how excited you are about this.
Well, from a historical standpoint, it's a fascinating story. It's very, very not, like, famous. I mean, I found references to it in a book I've got about the history of, you know, decapitation, because, you know, I have a book on the history of decapitation.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
And it would make a stupendous film, especially right at the end. You have the Australians and the British guy maybe make it, you know, heavily fictionalize it, so they've gone full native, and so they're going out cutting people's heads off and taking part in rituals and stuff too.
Like Apocalypse Now kind of thing?
Yeah.
Wow. You
know, I'm just describing what would be an excellent exploitation film. I'm not suggesting this would be a wonderful drama.
Well, with the right director.
But yeah,
I guess anything could be.
But we're supposed to talk about the Muppets, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
What if they decapitated Kermit?
Well, you could sew his head back on again. He's got that little fringe around his
neck.
Oh,
he was already decapitated.
Maybe.
But, after watching this as well, the Creature Shop Challenge, I remembered that, holy shit, Netflix is working on a Dark Crystal show.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And
but
it's
then,
and it's practical. I can't wait.
Here's how this goes down. Netflix is working on XYZ thing. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so amazing. 2 days later, Networks is working on this thing. Oh wow, that's going to be so amazing. Completely forget about it. Yeah, it's just like basically like Netflix is working on everything. Oh, okay.
Based on the fact that Netflix seems to constantly operate at a loss, there's
got to be some kind of edge there.
Yeah, its business model is leading. It's going to destroy it eventually. So I think the guy in charge of Netflix is just like, I got a bunch of things I want to see, and fuck it, I'm going to make them, until the collapse happens.
There's got to be more than we know going on. There's got to be some way that this is panning out. Because I swear to God, you open Netflix and everything is like an original series now.
Yeah, it's like, if I was in charge of Netflix, I know that's exactly what I would do. I'm just like, can I come up with a series of balanced original content that will encourage a lot of people? And it's like, nah, I wanted to see a sequel to The Dark Crystal. Make it, you fuckers.
Well, Johnny tagged me in a thing that he found that's actually coming out in September called American Graffiti, and it's like a satire documentary about this kid who's accused of being a graffiti artist, and they bring in like a documentary filmmaker to prove his innocence.
Oh, so it's got nothing to do with the film American Graffiti?
No, American Vandal, that's what it is.
Oh.
But it's taking the piss out of like their own success with like making a murder and stuff like that. And he thought it was brilliant. And so he sent me the trailer, and I was able to bring it up on Netflix and add it to my thing, but I can't watch it yet because it's like just a coming soon kind of thing. But yeah.
Like I heard Netflix are possibly going to be working on a sequel to the Dredd film, with Carl Urban.
I heard something about that. I heard that he was attached again to a new thing, but...
I'm like, please be true. Please, 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 Netflix, do this. Do this thing.
Well, they're doing pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I feel like a real hipster because I've had Netflix since it was like they'd post you a DVD, you watch it, and then post it back, and then when they get it, they'll post you a new one.
Yeah, this wasn't Redbox originally got the chance to do Netflix, and then Netflix was like, they said no, and Netflix.
No, it was Blockbuster.
Oh.
Blockbuster said no, that's stupid. Who'd do that? They could just rent one right now. Why post it? And Netflix was like, okay.
We had a thing locally whenever I was like a teenager. We had a guy driving around in a car with a car boot full of DVD of film. It was VHSs then. And they would go around every week, and if you give money and you hand back the old tape, you can get a new choice.
That is sounds like the best way to get raped and kidnapped and murdered.
Well, they would go to each house.
Yeah, I know, but just this culture of man in the van who comes around kind of thing, it just, I don't know, it just screams serial killer to me.
She's the one that was really, really disturbed when she found out that my beloved mother would get her fish for making fish and chips from literally a van sitting at the bottom of the hill, just this little old man who went fishing in Donegal.
No, I didn't know that part. It was just basically she was like, well, I have to get fish. You guys want fish and chips tonight? So when I first moved over, I was like, yeah, that sounds great. She goes, oh, well, the man in the van from Donegal should be coming by. And I was like, what? And apparently, no, it's just a man in a white, molester van who just sits at the bottom of the hill, and he has a sign that says fresh fish. And I'm like,
Very fresh fish.
Getting fish from a man in a van just sounds like a euphemism for something really horrible.
Remember, it's Ireland. Derry is the biggest city on the entire northwest area of Ireland, and outside of Derry, you just got rural stuff everywhere, and you got coastline. So it's a little bit different from growing up in the suburbs of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but it just, I don't know. And I was like, where does this fish come from? And she goes, oh, he probably catches it in Lough Foyle. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just seems like
a lot of coastline.
You want some fish, it fell off the back of the van. It seems like it's stolen or illicit in some kind of way. No, honey, it's illegal seafood. That's what it is.
Oh, like legal seafood in Boston?
Yeah, except that was the joke. Thank you for explaining it.
Well, now people who know that there's a place called Legal Seafood in Boston.
Legal Seafood's really good. It's kind of expensive, but it's really good.
I enjoyed them in my short stay in Boston Airport, where I was yelled at because people from Boston are apparently really nasty.
I know, right? When I was at Logan, I got yelled at in my quest to eat seafood.
I believe the term is masshole.
Mm-hmm. I will never go back to Logan if I can avoid it. It's the worst airport. People say that Philly International is the worst, and it's pretty bad, but I'm sorry, just for sheer nastiness, you have to give it to Logan.
I quite liked Orlando Airport.
I've never been in Orlando. Well, actually, I have once, but I was in high school. I don't really remember it, so.
Mainly because when we were coming back from Project Million, when I was going up to yours,
Mm-hmm.
I managed to find some fish and chips in the airport and from a hot dog place in the airport in the food court.
I wouldn't have trusted that.
On a fucking whim, I decided to try it because she will back me up on this. Whenever I'm in a foreign country, I like to try their version of fish and chips, just so because I have a baseline of what it's meant to be like, and it's interesting to see other areas, sort of versions of it. And I gotta say, this random hot dog, it wasn't like a cart or anything, it was a fast food place, but they primarily sold hot dogs. Their version of fish and chips was the best fish and chips I had ever had in the United States.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah.
I remember when we were on the band trip in senior year, we were down in Disney, and we were in Epcot, and a whole bunch of us, I think most of us ate in China because we wanted Chinese, but then my one friend's girlfriend was like, no, I want to go to, because she was a serious Anglophile. Well, she probably still is. And she was like, I want to go eat in Britain. And so we went to, like, the area that's Britain, which is quite small. And so she got fish and chips from, like, a guy, like, literally a cart vendor, really.
Oh, I've had that before.
And apparently, looked really nasty, and she got all sorts of in a huff about it, because we didn't want to go back to Italy or China, because we'd already eaten, it wasn't our fault. And so he took her back to Italy to take her to get some pizza or noodles or something. And me and my friend Brendan sat around the shore of the World Lake, and he was like, well, if you're not going to have the chips, go and give them to me. So we ate the fries. And then we didn't want to eat the fish because it was nasty. So we, like, threw it into the World Lake, and then, like, the big Disney fish came and ate it. And so we're like, another cannibal Disney fish. And that's my story.
Everyone I've heard hated...
That should be the name of this episode, Cannibal Disney Fish. Not acceptable for advertisers.
Like everything else
Pretty
we
much.
do.
Pretty much.
But, everyone I've talked to seems to hate the fish and chips in England in the World Showcase. I thought it was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't an abomination, though, compared to some I've tried.
Well, I like the fish from Brendan's of Stanley Wharf, which is our local place.
Yeah.
Cause it's nice.
Well, that's because it's a chippy in the
And
UK.
it's red fish. I don't like regular fish and chips. I only like red fish. And I think that's just a Derry thing, right? They don't do that in England.
Not that I've ever seen in
Like,
England.
if we go to a chippy in Leicester for more at Alcon, they won't do me red fish, will they?
I doubt it. I've never seen it in England.
Balls, I say.
Yeah, red fish is
Fucking amazing.
It's smoked fish.
It smells so bad. It is the most fishy, horrible smell ever, but it tastes so good.
Yeah. And you can also get the Derry supper in some parts of Derry, which is one piece of red fish and one piece of white fish.
But why when you could have two pieces of red
And white fish is like, basically, it's herring or whatever, or plaice or whatever.
Whatever they have in.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, in the UK you don't tend to, only the really highfalutin fish and chips places will actually tell you what kind of fish you're having. It's just, what
Mystery
colour
fish.
it is.
See, in America, like, that would not stand. We need to know these kinds of things. That's why it weirded me out, because, like, I was like, what kind of fish is it? Mystery fish? Like, like, why won't you tell me? Like, we don't know. It's white fish.
In the rock and soul place, as in rock, spelled normally, soul, as in S-O-L-E, and place, P-L-A-I-C-E, in London,
why is it spelled place like that?
Place, the type of fish.
I didn't know that. I've never heard of that fish before.
It's a flatfish.
Oh.
It's one of the white fishes that is sometimes used.
I like whitefish salad. Smoked whitefish salad is very lovely.
But the Rock and Soul place is the oldest fish and chip shop in the south of England. It appeared in the Supersizers Go Victorian.
I love the Supersizers.
And it's hardcore because it does list you the types of fish, which is very hoity-toity, but it is very expensive. However, one of the things you can get is fucking shark. Not just shark, rock shark. Now, apparently this makes it a wussy shark. However, I think the name rock shark is far fucking better than most sharks. Because, tiger shark, a rock shark could beat that. You ever seen a tiger try to eat a rock?
Is it like rock, paper, scissors, hammerhead shark, kind of?
I don't know, but I assume a rock could beat a tiger in a fight. Have you ever seen a rock, exhaust itself?
The Rock?
No, just a rock. A giant stone. Have you ever seen it exhaust itself in a fight? I think not.
A rock just be.
Yeah. Tiger tries to beat it, it's gonna go down. That's why Rock Shark, based on the name alone, should be better than a Tiger Shark.
I find this a dubious conclusion.
But mention something about Muppets.
I would love to meet Carol Spinney, who voiced and puppeteered Big Bird for years and years and years.
Apparently, whenever they travelled anywhere with the Henson Company, with the Big Bird suit, they had to actually rent an extra seat in first class.
That makes me so happy.
To carry the suit. And the suit wasn't like sitting in the chair, it would have to be in this really big box and sort of hung above the first class seat because it was so big and they couldn't risk it getting damaged.
Yeah.
It's one of the many facts I discovered while watching Jim Henson's Creature Shop
people
Challenge.
gave off about it. I'd be like, oh, that's Big Bird actually. They'd be like, oh my god, really? And you'd be like, yeah, just saying.
And they paid for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would because they were awesome. I don't know. Like, what other Muppet facts did you want me to mention?
Mention awesome Muppet things so I can play off them.
Well, I mean, I know more, like, about, like, the origins of Sesame Street and that kind of thing, not so much about, like, specific Muppets. Well, no, because I did some research for, there's a Muppet wiki, of course, there's a wiki for everything. When I was researching for my last What Went Right, which, years ago now, Halloween Scares, is that there are different, all of the monster Muppets that you see either in the Muppet Show or on Sesame Street, their last name of all of them is Monster. They're all considered to be of one family, or race, I guess, the monster race. And they're all made from, like, there's like 50 different templates that are common to the monsters and to all the Muppets. Like, only the really old original Muppets have their own, their complete new builds. But, like, one would be, like, you know, blue, fluffy, smooth, which would describe, like, you know, bits of, like, or oval orange is another one. That was pretty interesting.
World building.
It is. But, oh, did you know that the Martians, they got their weird design? They actually, I can't remember her name now, but she was the lead of the Muppeteers for a while, like, the design lead. She saw these, like, chenille, like, snood style hats in, like, I think it was, like, 1973 or 4. And she was like, oh, that looks like it could be a Muppet. And she designed the Martians from them.
Nope.
No, not Earth. No, not Mars. No, it was cow.
No, one of mine, I used a clip of them, used chicken. I believe it was Actium Maximus.
I love this. Hello. No, not Mars. No. Hello. Greetings. Alright, enough of that, because nobody wants to listen to me doing that for like 20 minutes.
You know what the best Muppets are?
Which one?
As in, they are officially the Huggins favourites.
Which is?
They are Beaker and Animal.
I was never a big fan of Animal. I like Beaker. Because he's like, me. And then he's like, oh, Beaker. Don't do things. They were like, I always considered those two to be gay.
I think Beaker is like, he's constantly trying to do the right thing and getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
Which is like most of us in our retail lives, isn't it?
Yes, but it also, it speaks to me greatly in our relationship.
Oh, for Christ's sake. You always
she's yelling at me for being wrong.
Well, yes, you are. I win. I win the internet. Go me. Hooray for me.
But I also like Animal.
Why? Tell me of your love.
Because he's awesome and he makes noises and plays the drums and has like a big red face. At the Disney in Florida, the Muppet thing in Hollywood Studios, I bought Cuddly Toy, Beaker and Animal because they are the best. Aww. Officially.
Do you know, though, that he fought tooth and nail against selling any of his intellectual property to Disney? And, like, there are people from, you know, his family who said, you know, if he knew, like, if he wouldn't approve of to the extent that Disney's involved with the Muppets these days. And I was like, oh, that makes me sad.
Alright, sad.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, like, I know how back in the day we were all like, evil Disney, evil corporation. But now they're just like, hi, we're Disney. Let's take your favorite IP and make it better by injecting it full of money. You like that, don't you? And we're like, we do, thank you.
We were technically Disney employees for a while.
For like a hot second.
When Disney bought Maker, who were in charge of Blip. So, you know, we were Mouseketeers. This was after Blip threatened to kick me off for accidentally doing a video that was so fucking offensive that they either did or were risking losing advertisers. I can't remember if they actually lost the advertisers or if they were just threatened with it.
And then they signed contracts with a whole bunch of people and then immediately broke them all.
Yeah, there was that, and I almost got one of those contracts.
So which is better, not actually getting the contract or getting the contract only for it to be immediately broken?
The second one, because then you can possibly sue and because you make some money until it gets broken.
That's true.
Because in my one, it was a case of, wait a minute, you got a contract, this will be great. Here we are having a long conversation with each other. And then I'll send you a contract within 2 weeks. 3 weeks go by, no contract. Phone them. Find out that they were fired and replaced. That's the last I heard of it.
Did they just quote unquote move on to other opportunities, or they actually be like, oh yeah, no, he got fired?
They seem to indicate they were fired. I have no idea anything else. But apparently, my guess is I am clearly so important and such a rebel that, you know, the possibility of me getting a contract meant that people randomly had to be fired.
I see. Wait, you talk to Hagen, that's it, clean out your desk.
Yeah, basically.
You're done here.
That was a very, very crazy weekend because that was the time we were over in New York for Times Scare, and then we got married right afterwards.
Like literally like the next week.
So my memory is a bit spottier than usual, and I have a shit memory.
That was a weird week, wasn't it?
Yep.
Well, in topical news, I may get to go to the Derry premiere of It in 2 weeks. Or a week and a half, really.
And I may, but less likely.
Well, yeah, it just depends on how many tickets my manager can get. And the thing is, like, I never saw the first It. I've never read the book, so it'll all be going into it blind.
Oh, you've never seen that one?
I never got around to it, no.
The main flaw with the TV version with Tim Curry is that they mix the adult stuff and the kid stuff together, sort of in the style the book does, when the kid stuff is far better than the adult stuff. They're being smart in this one by having just the kid stuff, and then they'll do a sequel with the adults where hopefully they won't fuck it up.
Well, I saw, actually, this was a wee bit ago, I saw this, it was a Netflix documentary series about, it's just like various like urban legends, but what's the actual crime that was the inspiration for it. And the clown hysteria goes back pretty far. And one of the experts they talked to referenced her book, which I really wish I'd written down because it sounds pretty interesting, that it goes back to the Harlequin tradition. Because, like, jesters weren't, like, just the fools that we thought. Like, basically, they served, like, a kind of role. Like, they were allowed to criticize royalty and the aristocrats and get away with it because it was satire. I mean, they had to toe a fine line, obviously.
Yeah, they were supposed to be quite often quite intelligent, and you also had... It's a bit similar to Satan in the Old Testament.
Yeah, so the idea that the Harlequin was, you know, came to especially in, like, you know, the Renaissance, came to embody, like, the jester with no holds barred, because they got really into masks in the aristocracy in the Renaissance. That this idea that, you know, no one knew who they were behind the mask, they were doing whatever they want, there was something sinister about that. And so that would, you know, people, and she's a sociologist, so obviously you can't test any of these. It was a cool theory that would contribute to a little bit of people's concern about clowns. However,
it sounds like it might have been the origin for the trope, but people being scared of clowns, I would imagine, has slightly more to do with the fact that it's a person, recognizably human, but their face is sort of covered and obscured and made different by the makeup.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit of uncanny valley stuff. Culturally, though, I would agree with her, because you would have to rationalize something on a certain level, you know. But oh yeah, as an evolutionary psychologist, I do agree that a lot of uncanny valley comes in, because it's that idea that just there's something wrong about this face, there's something not good. Is that an indication of bad genetics? Is that an indication of madness, of illness? Is this person dead?
Plus, you got these problems with the clowns, and clowns are quite often just inflicted on children. So if you're going to create a phobia, easier to do it on a child.
Oh, and the cool part was that they went and talked to a guy who was like a practicing clown. You know? And they examined it was Gacy, John Wayne Gacy?
Oh yeah, he was a clown. Yeah.
So they talked about that case, but they said that clown hysteria, there were recorded instances of clown hysteria that predated Gacy. So you couldn't, like, people like say, oh, it goes back to it, but Gacy happened before it. But then you had reports of clown hysteria that have been, and so that's why they talked to sociologists who said if you want to examine the Harlequin and how this, tradition goes back and stuff like that, and I thought it was pretty cool.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you remember what show that was?
It was on my Netflix here. I think you know what it was? It was, I think it was like something about night terrors, or it was something about, like, it would took a few different urban legends and examine the seed of it. And you know what? It was one of the guys who narrated it was one half of the duo of the team that did Cropsy. It was the guy from Cropsy.
Okay.
If you want a disturbing documentary, because you always see these lists on Ask Reddit, what cool, weird, disturbing documentary should I watch? Watch Cropsy, because that's quite upsetting. But yeah, and it went through, like, the whole the hook for a hand, being a kind of, like, basically to warn kids, don't have sex in cars.
I want to see this show.
But here's the thing, though. So that they traced that one back to, I want to say it was in Texas somewhere, and it was a serial killer who killed couples in cars because they were
killer legends.
Yeah, there you go. And so this was a real set of murders in the early 40s of young people that were killed in cars, and so that evolved into the guy with the hook. And they're about to have sex, and she hears the scratching and says, I'm not in the mood anymore, take me home, and
he's also doing a documentary on finding the missing Malaysian jet.
Oh, cool. I like that guy. I think he does good work. I'm trying to remember what others were in there, but it was very interesting,
And they got one about trying to find a missing serial killer, the killing season.
Yeah, he's, apparently, got really affected by the stuff that he heard on Staten Island growing up, and it really kind of made him into this delver of truth that he is.
I watched a documentary on night terrors, which is called the night terror or something like that. It was a documentary about people's sleep paralysis and stuff like that, and one woman who's convinced that it's demons, and someone else who's sure, who knows that's night terrors, but he finds himself unable to breathe during them until he can consciously force himself to breathe, and so he's sure he's going to die in his sleep one night because of it. And it's
I don't know why they haven't fitted him with a CPAP.
Maybe it's America. Maybe he doesn't have the insurance.
That's true. I've never suffered from sleep paralysis.
I have once. It was fascinating. I knew exactly what was going on.
Only you.
I couldn't move, and I looked in the corner, and I did see an ominous large shape, and I was scared for a brief second, then I remembered, wait a sec, sleep paralysis. You've read about this. Wow, this is fascinating.
Only you.
This is why I kind of like to take LSD to try and bring up a bad trip, because I have the sort of mind who will be like, okay, I know what's going on. I'm going to observe everything.
Yeah, but you don't... There's no guarantee you'll be able to hold on to the idea...
This is true.
...of that, because, I have no experience whatsoever with hallucinogens. I have no want to have any kind of experience with hallucinogens. I think I'd be no. But...
That's true. I mean, I should probably try to get better at lucid dreaming, which I've also done, twice.
That's the thing is, that's why, I mean, that's a good way to avoid if you've just got lit. The paranoia, the cops are gonna... No, they're not. You just think this because you're paranoid. Because that's one of the side effects in the brain of cannabis intoxication. Right, okay.
Yeah, and...
That's why, I'm having a heart attack. You're not having a heart attack, you're having a panic attack. Yeah, you're right.
And I do have a history of while getting sort of worried about stuff, also working out this, trying to parse the difference between the stuff that's purely emotion-based and stuff that's rational.
Well, I mean, in anything you have to stop and think about it and be like...
Yeah.
I need to identify.
But I do that a lot.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Good job, you.
See, that might help if I do decide to take hallucinogens sometime. I mean, it's illegal, so it's hard. So I don't want to go to the bother of having to break the law for it. But I would be interested at some point.
Well, some people, what's become pretty popular these days is microdosing with magic mushrooms. Like, apparently, if you have some severe disorders, like taking a wee small dose makes it better. I saw some journal article come across my dash, on Reddit about it, but I was one of those bookmark to read later when I can use a VPN and download the entire article rather than just the abstract. But apparently that's a thing now. In
summation, I would like to know what it is like inside my own nightmares.
That's
I'm sure I would find it really fascinating.
I would say if we were in a country where such things were legal, then you would want... No, I would want you to be with someone who has a lot of experience.
Oh, yes.
Because I wouldn't know what's normal. I mean, if you have experience with hallucinogens and you want to share your experience in the comments, by all means.
Yeah, honestly, I really think that these things should be legal, and you should be able to have, like, rent a room with someone who's an expert who watches over you physically and, you know, makes sure that you're okay and, you know, that there's nothing going wrong. You should be able to pay for that service.
Well, I think
like an opium den.
With LSD, like, I don't think you can physically overdose because the amount...
you might hurt yourself.
You know, yeah, I know what it, like, but they wouldn't need vital sign monitoring. You just need to be kept in, like, safe from yourself.
There's that, but there's also the slight possibility that you might have a bad reaction to the compound itself. Like, if you have an unknown allergy or something.
It's LSD is for lysergic something acid. I don't know, I read it with lysergic disseminate. I can't pronounce it, but
anyway, should be legalized and made safe because holy fuck, it's really ridiculous.
I agree, I guess. Well, you know what? We're really getting to the point now that people are trying so hard to get around illegal drug bans that they're just making, like, all the synthetics. There's, like, synthetics for everything now. Yeah,
and those synthetics are almost definitely going to be worse for you.
Oh, really, really hard.
I'm pretty sure LSD is actually synthetic, too. It was invented in a lab.
Yeah, it is synthetic, but, like, it's not...
It wasn't a synthetic that was invented to get around the law,
yeah.
So therefore it was made from, I want to say, I'm trying to think of a better way to put this, but it was made from pure ingredients. And the other ones are made from whatever crap is not illegal.
Yeah, well, I remember back in the day. Now, I will confess this, that I have had experience with synthetic cannabis back in the day when it first came out. Back when you were still reasonably sure you were getting JWH018, which was
I don't know what that is.
It was the original chemical, and basically, it was involved in cancer research, but I forget what the aim was exactly. I don't know
Getting cancer sufferers high so they don't mind so much.
No, it was involved. It wasn't involved in, like, a therapeutic kind of thing. It was a chemical that was synthesized as part of a process. I don't know what kind of process. And they discovered, oh look, it has not antigens. I can't mind the word. The cannabinoids is the molecule that will attach to the receptor in the brain, like a neurotransmitter. But they noticed, look, this does the same thing.
Oh.
This reacts the same way in the brain. But it was a drug that they synthesized the chemical, but whatever they needed it for, it wasn't what they needed. They moved on. And then someone was like, oh yeah, this can get you high. And when I lived with my friend and his girlfriend, and he was big into that. And I will tell you what, like, even back when you knew this is exactly what you're getting, because you could just get it from chemical companies. You could just buy the powder, and then, like, sprinkle it onto, you know, whatever you were using, or, you know, like a cigarette or something like that. But it's horrible. I mean, it's so like, if you get offered this stuff, even now, just don't. It's just easier to just wait. If you're a drugs user, legal or illegal, it's just easier to just wait for whatever your natural stuff is, because it's horrible. It's so easy to go too far, and you disassociate so easily. It's mechanical. It's upsetting. Like, you have minor dissociation with regular cannabis, like, just, like, for a second. Like, huh, what was I doing? Oh, right. Basically, it's kind of like a momentary... it's like a momentary interruption in your episodic memory recording or memory consolidation. So you're like, what was I? Oh, I've been staring at Messenger for 5 minutes and I haven't answered my friend. Oh yeah, I think so too. But the disassociation with synthetics, oh god, it's horrible. It's like your soul coming loose. Never do it, kids. Don't do it. And even writing the stuff now, it's not even remotely like cannabis. It's more like meth. It's like straight up amphetamines.
So
don't do it.
That's no good.
And do you know what I saw in the Derry Journal and the Telegraph last week? There's heroin in town now.
Is there?
Apparently there's heroin and meth. They raided a meth house up in Cragen.
Oh.
Which is not really good because, like, row houses, Terrence houses here, you know, if one has a meth lab in it, it blows up. That's the whole entire block.
Okay.
And people will be like, it was the IRA. Oh no, it was just Breaking Bad. But no, I was thinking about that the other day because a few weeks ago I was coming through Richmond Center and there was a guy passed out in front of it, like with his back against the wall, completely like hands down, like on the ground, arms on the ground, head lolling, but like knees up, and he was bleeding from the head, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look good. So I went into the security guy at Richmond Center. I'm like, here, is your man okay? He's like, he's just drunk. He's just passed out drunk. And I'm like, are you sure? Because he's bleeding from the head. No, sure he'll be grounded a wee bit when he sleeps it off. And I was like, well, all right. I mean, because like there was other people like looking like, is he all right? So I mean, I had to get to work, so I left. And I thought to myself, he didn't look like he was passed out. He looked like he was nodding. And I thought to myself, yeah, but no one smokes. You know, no one does heroin here. But like, now come to think about it, like, will people be able to differentiate between he's just passed out drunk, or he's ODing from heroin?
Yeah, we have very little experience in this town with drugs because, well, the terrorist groups tend to kill drug dealers.
Which is just really, really weird. Like, there'll be no drug dealing here, just terrorism.
Yeah.
There used to be a head shop called Red Star, and your man used to sell legal highs back when they were legal, and apparently a guy walked in and said, do you own this shop? I said, yeah, and they shot him in both kneecaps and walked away.
Welcome to Narn.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but I was thinking about that, and I was worried. Like, I was like, I hope he's alright.
Yeah, no, it is rather disconcerting to hear that there's meth and heroin in Derry now.
Yeah, they were saying that out in the Geldon was reporting, you know, people coming in with suffering from like meth and heroin intoxication. Well, couldn't last forever, I guess.
Anyway,
isn't this cheerful?
Anyway,
Muppets and meth. That's this episode. Cannibal Disney fish. Aren't you glad you tuned in?
At least my vague interest in LSD is only because I want to know what it's like inside my own nightmares, because I don't remember dreams often. You know, that's academic. You know, every other drug, I don't give a shit. I don't do them. You know, I don't even drink.
I can tell you what's inside your own dreams because you talk in your sleep.
You know,
do you know what she did? Do you know what she did the other night? Okay, it was like early in the morning, and I like turned over, and she stirred, and she goes, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I'm not looking for anything. Go back to sleep. You're not awake." "Are you looking for a collection of vicious beans?" "No." And then she goes, "Vicious beans." And then like was asleep again. I was like,
with these conversations that apparently I have, my eyes are open and I'm awake, very briefly while in a dream, because I have occasionally sleepwalked, but I don't think I've ever sleepwalked while I've been with you.
No, well, no. Once you were just standing next to the bed. I said, "Are you okay?" And you said, "What?" And I said, "Are you okay?" And you said, "Don't think about it." And then you like just like fell down into bed and were asleep. I was like, all right. This was a while ago though. No, she'll just say the weirdest thing. Like, you know, last night. You were just like, you said, "Stop punching me." It's like, I'm not punching you. You are. You're pushing against me and punching me. I said, "I'm not." And then you didn't reply. This is my life. In bed. If you ever wanted to know about us in bed, well now, all your dreams have come true, really. Ooh, sexy. So anyway, where are we going next week? We should probably plug for that.
Well, I've already plugged it on Twitter.
Well, I have too, but we should...
We're going to Leicester to go to Alcon. We're leaving on Thursday, and we're coming back on Monday. And if all goes well, I should film 4 fucking episodes in those days.
I'm gonna be so exhausted.
1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. 3 of these are crossovers. 1 is a live show. Now, This live show was written for like BroCon 2016, but then they didn't invite me that year, so I'm like, okay, wait till next year. Then they cancelled my invitation for 2017 when I was going to do it. So I decided to do it at Alcon. I requested a couple of hours. I got 1 hour to record an episode which is like 16, 17 pages. And this is it cut down. So if you watch the episode and my performance is shit, it's because I was only able to do two or three versions of each line. I had to rush through. And
here's the thing: in the timetables don't account for the full. In the comic book, it doesn't account for the full title. So it just says Diamanda Hagen's critique of Brad Jones instead of Brad Jones is cheap. So he's like standing up there like, let me tell you about Brad. And I can just him sitting at home on the couch with his cat on. Aww.
I'm gonna take a photo of the fucking thing and I'm gonna tweet it at Brad.
We're just gonna be standing there and his mustache looks weird and what's with that couch? Which is too bad because I've only met Brad the one time when you guys filmed the Myra Brecken retreat. He seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he was lovely. What's hilarious is this movie. The review I'm doing it's his film Cheap. I thought it was Freak Out, in that I took the notes for this at a BroCon. My idea was to take the notes for it, let them, because I'd previously done my Passion review, my Sunset Heights review, was to let them take another part of review making, so watch a film live and take notes. So I chose Brad's one. Only halfway through the movie did I realize this is not the one I wanted. I wanted to do Freak Out. So I got stuck doing this review, and now this is the longest running in-production video in my show's history, because I took the notes for this. I started working on this officially in 2015.
Wow. 2 years in the making.
And it's not going to be worth it.
Now, I'm doing a panel. Actually, it's classified as a talk, really. And basically, I wanted to discuss why adults are are drawn to children's media and why that's okay from an evolutionary and developmental psychology outlook. And basically, I wanted to call the panel, Why Do You Like Steven Universe? Adults and Child Media. But since there's no, that I can find in the comic book, there's no actual descriptions of the panels and the talks. It just comes up as, Why Do You Like Steven Universe by Omega. So I'm really concerned that people are going to show up thinking it's going to be, let's talk about our favorite OTP fusion. And I'm like, let me tell you about developmental psychology. You've been using Steven Universe as a focus. So I'm going to say, this is what the panel is, the talk's about. If you want to leave now, I won't blame you. I won't be angry. But I'm going to see if I can get it filmed and throw it up on YouTube. Because I've been working on the slides for the presentation and sourcing references, and I'm really pleased with my slides.
You should dress up as Steven Universe for the panel.
I'm going to. I'm not going to wear flip-flops because
good idea.
I only have the one.
Because you have like 20-minute walk.
Yeah, I'm just going to wear it.
Travelodge.
I'm going to wear the shirt. But see, the thing is, the shirt's an extra large, and now I'm like slimmer than when I bought it.
When we're doing, I'm doing 3 other reviews apart from Cheap crossovers. I'm doing Raising Heroes, which is a mid-90s gay thriller with gorehounds who I did Necromantia with. I'm doing Breeders.
The Scottish guy.
Yeah, Scottish Robin. I'm doing Breeders, which is the 3rd part in me and Filmbrain's continuing Paul Matthews review-a-thon. It's terrible, like Merlin and really like Berserker. And the 3rd one is Mystics and Bali. And I'm not telling you who I'm doing the review with. That's exciting. And don't look at the con book, because they're not listed in the con book. Yeah. They're coming to do this crossover.
Just to Leicester, just for you.
And to hang out with people.
And we're gonna be seeing some other folks. I don't know. Welshie and Jill Barrett are coming for a day.
Mike J's coming.
Yeah, just to hang out.
And I'm doing another video with Gorehounds for his show.
His crossover.
I'm doing a couple of podcasts with someone.
Sophie Liv from Agony Booth is coming, and in a surprise twist, so I contacted her and I said, "Here, look, I heard you're coming to Alcon. Will you go on, bring me some more of that salted licorice?" Because 2 years ago, she brought salted licorice. That was the first time I tried it. And Filmbrain and you made the worst face ever. Bleh, bleh, bleh. And I was like, oh, yuck, bleh. Let me try another one. Oh, it's terrible.
I don't even like licorice.
I like black licorice, and I got really into salted licorice. And the kind you can get in Germany and in Amsterdam is not as powerful as the stuff that she brought. So I was like, psst, go on, bring me some, and I'll bring you some Irish candy. And she said, well, look, how about I bring a whole bunch of Danish sweets, you bring a whole bunch of Irish stuff and we'll do a let's try on camera. And I said, I'm down for that. So
yeah.
And I'm getting salted licorice, the kind that like tastes like ammonia.
Depending on when she's going, we could do that on Friday or Saturday.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard back from her, but I'm sure. I think she's staying at the Travel Lodge, so I'm sure we'll
probably
end up, you know.
It's where all the fabulous people stay.
So fabulous. But yeah, so that'll be us. So expect some stuff from us from the wild, wonderful world of Lesbian.
I believe that Film Brain will be recording our Cards Against Humanity game, where people in the audience get to take part, get to come brought up, take part in the game, and the audience chooses who wins each round, and there will be prizes of DVDs, because I'm hardcore and that's how I roll. I hand out DVDs.
I need to see if I can go to pound shops and see if I can find that rainbow foot lollipop, because that's my favorite prize to bring, because it's only cost me £1, and it's this huge lollipop in the shape of a foot and it's rainbow colored, and that's the foot in the mouth. So whoever has the absolute worst answer gets the foot in the mouth prize. I think it's pretty funny.
That is.
But yeah, I'm also doing the Channel Awesome Q&A.
That'll be recorded by Film Brain.
Although usually it's just kind of like, what do you guys feel about the situation on YouTube? Because there's always a situation on YouTube.
The controversial thing. I bet we're going to hear a lot about demonetization. We're going to have a lot of people blaming the wrong things for demonetization.
Aye.
You know, blaming whichever bugbear they don't much like as
what does Doug think about things? Ask Doug.
Yeah. We're going to probably be asked about a bunch of famous people that none of us give a shit about.
Why did XYZ person leave Channel Awesome? I don't know. Tweeted them.
Yeah. I'm hoping that at least one person there will ask questions about the Franklin expedition. That would be a change of pace.
Let's talk about history.
That would be a nice change of pace. You could do a Franklin expedition panel next year.
Nobody cares. Except for the internet.
Some people care. I mean, I got decent views on my first Franklin video. The second one got less, but I really think that if I did just these documentary videos, I could get a decent amount of views just doing that.
I think you should have a playlist like Hagen's Explains Disturbing History.
Yeah, eventually I'm going to do that. Like right now it's just Franklin Expedition because I'm doing at least 4 videos on it. Assuming people want more. I mean, if I get to the end of part 3 and people don't want any more, then I will do something else. But I want to do 4 parts, maybe 5 if I do an entire video dedicated to the Franklin conspiracy because, dudes...
That's off the hook.
It's basically InfoWars, but for mid-Victorian polar exploration.
Oh god, it's so weird. But yeah, so we should probably wrap this up, because we've said all that there is to say on all of the varied topics that we've covered today.
We're about to watch He-Man and She-Ra for Backseat Critique.
We are. Well, that's been us for this week. I have been the Omega, and honey, who do you want to have been this week?
I want to be in a bi-monthly money train.
I need to know why.
It's a reference to the next episode of Hagen, End of the Wicked, going up probably... Well, we get back from Alcon on the 4th. It won't be the 5th or anything, but a few days after that.
Why is her vagina a bi-monthly money train? I have to know.
Expect the first... my first new video of next month on the 5th probably, and that'll most likely be Red Dwarf Guide Series 3 because it's already finished.